about this joy. Like, everyone's like, what's your joy? What's your joy? Like, getting to joy. And I was like, how do
I don't even know what joy is.
I don't even know what joy is. Well, and the thing was, I was so sick and so like down and so contracted that I was having a hard time. And I have more compassion when people are sick. I get it. It's hard for them just to be like, hi, I'm Joy, and like I'm happy. Like when you're dealing with chemo and stuff, you're like, screw you, don't tell me to have joy.
It's like impossible to.
It's to generate it, and then it feels inauthentic, and you're just trying, and it's fake, and it's just like be wherever you're at.
Yes.
And that's where like when I learned the whole different frequencies and like there's not one's better than the other. It actually gave me that freedom to go, okay, well, do I want to have joy today? Yeah, sure. Okay, what are some things that bring me joy? And, I babysit my friends' kids. Now, there are 3 of them from age 1 to 5. Now, some people are like, and there's times I am, so don't get me wrong. I'm like, oh my God, I have all 3 of them at the same time. Oh. And they're all 3 awake, oh my gosh, and throwing food and screaming. But then I go back into like, well, what is it about joy? Like I ask the questions, like, what is it about these 3 little ones? And I just love them to pieces. They're one of my really good friends' kids. And like, she just loves them so much and doesn't trust them with a lot of people. So that trust in her brings me joy, to let alone like, I don't have kids of my own and I won't be able to have kids of my own. And so being able just to be around other people's kids brings me joy. I pet sit and house sit all the time because I get to hang out with your dog all the time. I love your dog. Like, it's like this little temporary, like, dog. I get it, like, and I don't have to, like, full blown and have to worry about if I'm leaving. And, just those different things that I never thought would bring me joy. Like, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go to the bar and have a drink.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I look back at those days. They never brought me joy.
It was temporary.
Again.
But in the moment.
And the moment with the friends, though, at the bar, the laughter, the joy, that's what brought me joy.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, when I stopped really drinking a lot and didn't really want to go to bars anymore, I was like, okay, what am I looking for? So I started looking for what was it about those things that I did in the past that I no longer like to do that I can then bring. So now it's like, let's go to a concert. Let's go to, just a movie and have like coffee before. I mean, I'm all about girl brunches and even a brunch, but like that's one of my favorite things to do with my friends is just brunch and pancakes that I don't have to make. I'm all over it. But, that's, looking at it differently and asking myself what brings me joy. And again, going back to the intuition, they're going, what do you mean you want me to go learn to kayak? No, it's on my list, by the way. And I seen you kayak, and I was like, oh my God, even Marissa's kayaking. Yeah, that was awesome. I really got to do that, But just being able to ask those questions and really try different things too. And again, it's kind of like the mindful eating. It's like it might be something off the wall that I didn't think about that I might try.
And I think it's different each day. That's one thing I realized. Like, what joy is to me one day doesn't necessarily mean the next day it's going to be the exact. Like, there's times where I'm like, I want to dance, and that's going to bring me joy. And the next day, I like put the same song on, and I'm like,
right?
That's not working.
Exactly. He's like, what happened? Okay. That was my go-to song. And
yeah.
I was like, it's not my go-to song.
No, it wasn't. Like, it's not happening. And I'm like, all right, what's something else that I can do? And then going back into your body and just like being like, okay, what's going to actually, what sounds good, and like, sometimes it'll be going to the ocean, playing volleyball, or like laughter, whatever it is, but just like, and feeling the feels. So when I am on chemo, one thing I'm really like noticing and realizing is that I just need to just be with it. Like, you know what? It sucks. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. You're right. I'm not going to be poster child for how to make chemo joy.
Yeah. I'm like, no, it's not joyful. And like, just me watching Netflix during those times is what has me just get through it.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I can be like, okay, now, and I've noticed when I do that, instead of resisting it, I actually like get so much better and recover so much faster.
You do stuff, I seriously, you do stuff that I'm like, even healthy people don't do that. Like people that aren't dealing with what you're dealing with don't do this amount of stuff you do. Like you really seize that moment when you're not like, okay, I'm done, now I'm going to do this, and you live your life the fullest.
It's my motto.
Yep. And it's really that, like, because sometimes we get in that rut, and I found it for myself, too, like, when I was dealing with so much of the I didn't know how to feel the feels and all that kind of stuff. I struggled that first year of being sick. Like, how do I go and live a normal life dealing with what I'm dealing with, you know? Like, that was always what was so scary to me. You know, it was like I was scared. I was actually scared to go do too much too soon. And it would, like, stop me from doing things. Because I'm like, what if I, you know, I mean, I even got a handicap placard. My doctor was like, I don't want you to be somewhere where you have to walk too far and you get so exhausted you can't get to your car. I was like, wow, okay. So then it like put this mental fear in me. And then after a while, I'm like, screw it, I don't care, you know. And it was enjoyable. Parking place for a while. It was nice to have. But what about you?
Yeah, I think for me, joy is like this, like the way that I consider it is like a state of mind like outside of my circumstances, right? And the way that I see it is that like the more like activities that I do that bring me into alignment, that like have me feel joyful, like we were talking about self-care things that really help me get into that state of mind, the more I'm less reactive to like my circumstances, you know? And to me, like finding joy is like that thing that keeps me unstuck. Like we were talking about watching funny videos earlier, right? Like the process of laughing like helps me like bring back like a flood of those joy chemicals, you know, like the feeling of joy, or gratitude practice, or those sorts of things like actually like help to bring me into what I would call like a joy state of mind. And you know, like for me, that's like the thing that keeps me confident. It's the thing that keeps me going. It's the thing that like, if I'm not feeling joyful, it's hard to like go out and meet people. It's hard to like network. It's hard to do my business. It's hard to like work or coach people, you know? And so for me, it's like a state of being that like ultimately like I want all of my activities like that I do to like bring me to that state, you know? And so like I kind of use it as this like measurement point of like, okay, is what I'm doing right now bringing me joy? Now that's not to say that things aren't hard.
And then you have
or that there are things that you don't enjoy. But like,
you have to do.
For the most part, on the things that I can choose to do, I'm going to choose the things that bring me joy versus the things that don't bring me joy.
That you force yourself to do.
And that just like leaves me just like in a complete different place to be able to deal with like the challenges that I don't have control over, right? So like if I'm in a higher state of joy or alignment, my circumstances don't matter as much. I'm not as reactive to like what's happening around me. Versus like if I'm not in that place, then like everything feels like life is falling apart or everything's falling apart, right? And so it's really like the state of mind or like place to get to. Now, we talked about this already, feeling the feels, right? You can't pile happiness on top of guilt, shame, fear, all those lower like emotions. Like you can't just like pretend that they're not there. That doesn't make you joyful. I used to be that way. Okay, it's fine, it's okay. That actually does not even work. It just literally like makes you feel like more and more that feeling, and then you think
that real feeling that is happening. That's the thing. We try to do that fake feeling on top of the real feeling. And it's
that's
like,
why positive thinking
really
doesn't work.
No,
like you have to really like go within and like actually see and feel it, and then once it's like you know, Michelle once said that like if you have a pile of poop and you put rose petals on top of it,
it still smells like poop.
It still smells like
rosy poop.
So so it's like you gotta, you know, clean that stuff out of the way first, deal with it, and then, you know,
you
pour
can
in
move yourself
like all the positivity and
into that other place. Although I am a big fan of Abraham Hicks, and I am a big fan of focusing on what's working versus what's not working.
And
that I guess it's different than positive thinking.
It's different than positive. The positive thinking is like, oh, I'm better than this. I'm better than this. I'm better than this.
When you're like feeling really happy,
I'm fine.
And
I'm
you're
good.
just
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm happy. And you're like, bullshit.
Right. I mean, there's so many things that bring me joy, but I think that, you know, you mentioned this earlier, playing with kids really brings me joy. They just have that energy that's like infectious, that's so much fun. But like it's for me, like personally, it's finding peace that brings me joy. So focusing on first being peaceful and relaxed, and then I can experience joy.
For me, I mean, kids definitely, and then pets, like my dog, like, and then Yeah, and then my husband, of course, like, you know, just being around, like getting hugged. I feel like that's a big one. But otherwise, like laughter and, you know, doing like outdoors, ocean, all those things just actually like allow me to like let go of whatever it is that was there for me. And then just like I definitely feel the frequency going up when I get out in nature.
Yeah.
You know, another one, contribution to others.
Ah, yes.
You stole mine.
Oh, okay, good.
I was like, wait, I'm like, no. Well, first,
Yeah.
bubble baths.
okay.
They really do. I'm going back, man. Going back some modules, going back some weeks. We're tying them back around because I am all about my bubble baths. They just bring me peace and joy all the time. But contribution. Like when I get to make a difference for another,
Yeah.
you can't get me off the ceiling.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons I got so sick, because that was the addiction. I was actually addicted to serving others. So then it was that finding through self-love, how do I fill my cup then offer? Because I love contribution. And then there was an actual slip where that was what was getting me through the day, besides my word, but getting me through that day was helping others and then having absolutely nothing left. And I would hear people say, well, it's using you up and be used up before you die. And, you know, like, it totally took all of me and all that. And I'm like, bull caca. You fill your cup, you get your thing, and then you also still serve others.
Right.
And you serve them better in that
You
way.
serve them better.
Yeah.
And like I saw a quote once, and I don't remember exactly how it said it, but it was like, you can't serve others if you're out of service. Like your body, you are out of service.
Yeah.
You just can't. Like any machine is going to shut down at any given time, and it will literally not work. So why do we expect our bodies and ourselves, our minds, to be able to do that? Which is really great.